It's not about motivation. Winners need discipline. Wake up and win today. Discipline comes from within.
Boxing King Media in association with Boxstore. Adam Morallee, the manager of Florian Marku. An interesting fight. I've got to say to you, like, is this Florian's toughest challenge?
To date, yeah, I think it probably is in the world of boxing for sure, yeah.
You know, like prior to this fight, I think most people probably recognize Florian as a guy that sells a lot of tickets where you don't need to take a risky fight. Why do you feel this is the right time to take that risky fight?
Yeah, look, I think you look at the 147-pound division, you've got elite world level, people like Terence Crawford right at the top, that Florian's not at that level. And then you look at the opponents Florian's been facing, like, with the greatest respect to people like Chris Jenkins, Dylan Moran, they're probably like, you know, British level people. When you want to step up, we wanted the Josh Taylor fight. Florian wants to test himself at the world level. We couldn't get it, we tried. And then you're against opponents who are between British and world level. And to be fair, there's a big gap there. So I think Chris Congo's a good next step for Florian right now.
Where do you kind of class Chris in that mix? Because I'm assuming like you could have took a harder fight for way more money, but this seems like a real risky one where it's 50-50 on paper, and I'm assuming it's not like massive, like, you know, money as it would be for if you fought like a Josh Kelly, for example.
Look, Florian is a big ticket seller, and wherever he goes, he gets paid very, very well. So Florian's getting paid very, very well for this fight. That's the first thing. Secondly, Chris Congo. Yeah, look, Chris Congo lost to Eko Esserman. So Chris Congo, we've got respect for Chris, but there's a level there that it's a challenging fight, but Florian should be able to pass this test.
What are you expecting? Are you expecting a technical fight here, or is do you think Florian stops him? Because obviously neither guy has been stopped.
I think Florian stops him. I think you saw a very focused Florian against Dylan Moran. I think you'll see a similar Florian in this fight. I think Chris, in his career, he's fought Eko, he's fought other people, but the glare and the spectacle of fighting Florian Marku is something different. And I think it's difficult for people to cope with that. You saw it with Dylan Moran last time, who's a lovely kid, but he got to the press conference, he got to the weigh-in and he started pushing Florian. He lost it, and I think that happens to Florian's opponents. I think he beats them mentally before they step in the ring. I think that will happen again.
It'd be interesting to see how that unfolds. How do you see the battle of the trainers? Because there's two great trainers in each corner. You got Ben Davison, Grant Smith. Two guys are like classed as probably the top 3, top 4 best in the country. So how do you see that battle unfolding?
Look, Grant and Ben are probably two of the top coaches in Britain, and they've both got their ways about them, I think. Ben's a little bit more with his team, a little bit more analysis-wise, looking at Florian, looking for gaps. Grant's a little bit different, has his own philosophy that he wants to impose. I think it's going to be a brilliant matchup. I mean, let's just be clear. Chris Congo's a fighter of a level, he can easily win this fight. And with Ben Davidson as well, I mean, they're a formidable team.
Let's see how that goes. Before I let you go, Adam, I just want to also speak to you about some of the other fights. It's a great card from top to bottom. Any other particular fight you're looking forward to the most on this card?
CLARKE. Clarke's fantastic fight. I want Sol Dacres to fight the winner as the English heavyweight champion. He should be fighting that. And it's one of those, I know both guys quite well, watched them spar both. Such a tough fight to pick. Sometimes you think Audley, sometimes you think Clarke. Fraser's got the quality. How good is Fabio? That's why I want to see that fight.
Could you drop me some predictions, some quick ones if you fly through them? Say Babic Robinson.
Babic, stoppage, mid-rounds.
Wardley Clarke.
Clarke points.
Vidal Riley and Mikhail Lawal.
Riley.
That's a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah.
And before I let you go, I also want to quickly get your opinion on all the feedback you've had about Joyce. Obviously, I think I'll concentrate on the negative stuff, and the negative stuff was basically everyone's saying he looks slower than ever. Yeah. Obviously, the weight thing was quite well documented, so I won't really talk about that. But the slowness, was he any slower than he's ever been before?
No, I mean, look, he was heavier, and I think, you know, the team, and we looked at it with Joe, we'd like him to be lighter. It's not all about weight, but I think heaviness contributes to speed. But Joe is what he is. You know, he looks better. No, Cash Ali is better than people think. Put in a good performance. Joe got him out of there. It wasn't Joe's best performance, but Joe does better against world level opponents. With Joe's style, listen, it's with the greatest respect to Joe, it's not hard for opponents to know what they're going to get in the ring. They're going to get the juggernaut walking forward. And he does well. His best performance is against Daniel Dubois, Joseph Parker, against people at the elite world level. And that's where we need to get Joe back to.
And obviously, alongside us, some people are saying, you know, the people around him shouldn't let him fight again. We've seen this kind of stuff before. In fact, we saw it when Joseph Parker lost to Joyce. I remember people saying that the people around Parker should look after his health and take him out of boxing, etc. But obviously, you've seen what's happened there. So just for you as a manager, what's going through your mind when you're hearing things like that?
I don't know who's saying them, for starters. I mean, I don't know if they've ever managed people. I've been with Joe since the start of his career. I treat him he's like a brother to me. And if ever his health was at stake, I would be not recommending he box. He's in a great place. Yeah, okay, he's come off the Zhang loss. He's had a heavy Christmas and he's coming back and he's getting back into shape, and that was a warm-up fight. There was nothing in that fight that would indicate that Joe Joyce shouldn't box anymore. I mean, he's got big fights ahead of him. He's got fringe world level fights ahead of him, then world level fights. Joseph Parker wants to rematch him. Dillian White's out there. Even someone like Derek Chisora's out there. He's got big fights. He's got plenty of gas left in the tank.
And if I could just, last question, if you could map out his next 3 fights, who would you want him to be 1, 2 and 3?
Dillian White, Joseph Parker, AJ.
Well, I hope that happens, because I think there'll be good fights. And obviously, I haven't got an opinion on it, but we do see that a lot, where fighters get kind of dismissed completely on the back end of one loss. And obviously, he's got 2 losses to the same man.
Happened with AJ. He lost twice to Usyk. Everyone wrote him off. Good matchmaking from his team back. Jermaine Franklin, if you remember, he fought him probably this time last year. Everyone thought it was a terrible performance. Fought Robert Helenius. Didn't look good for 6 rounds, knocked him out. Then on the 3rd fight back, fought Wallin. Looked better. Now he's knocked out Francis Ngannou, ranked 238th in the world, and he's back. Just shows what good matchmaking can do.
Well, it's your job to try and get some good matchmaking. Is there any developments on the Dillian White situation? Because everyone's talking about it.
No, I mean, I've spoken to George Warren. He's reached out to Dillian's team. We think that's a fantastic fight for both of them, and we're waiting to hear back. We'd love to fight him.
That means Saudi?
Could be. I mean, could be anywhere. I mean, Joe wants to fight in the UK.
Adam, I appreciate your time, man, and should be a fun week. I think it's going to be a good night on Sunday night.
Yeah, it's going to be good. Great card. Great card.
Adam Morallee, thank you for your time.
I got a question for you. Where can discipline take you? Discipline points you towards your goals.